What up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Funboxing with Will. I'm your host, Will, with H2O Co. Film and Photo, and today we're going to be doing a review, an EDC review, on a knife that I find to be one of my favorite pocket knives ever. It's something I carry all the time with me, and it's the Kansept Reverie. So let's get into that review. Alrighty guys, now before we get into that review today, I just want to say thanks to all of my subscribers and anyone who's even just stopped in to check out this video. If you like EDC reviews or tech reviews, overviews, and tutorials, this is the place to be. I try to focus mainly on camera gear and filmmaking equipment, stuff like that, but I will do reviews on any tech that I can get my hands on. And then I have a playlist for EDC, so if you're into like pocket watches, wallets, knives, things like that, I do reviews on all of those items as well. So today, like I said, we're going to be doing a review on the Kansept Reverie. So let's get over to the top-down setup so you guys can see a better view of the knife, and we'll start talking about the knife. Alrighty guys, now that we're over here at the desk and doing the top-down view, we're going to get into this review. This is the Kansept Reverie, as I call it. I've heard it pronounced the Revere, I think. Yeah, the Revere. I don't call it that. Call it that if you want. I go with the Reverie. It just sounds better to me. Plus, I'm pretty sure that's the correct spelling. This individual knife is one of my favorite EDC knives ever. I carry it with me probably more than any other knife. It's always on my belt, and it's kind of weird because most of my preferences when it comes to EDC knives, I tend to enjoy fidgety knives, and this is not a fidgety knife pretty much whatsoever. It does have a really good action on it as it sits on ceramic ball bearings, but as you can see, there is no flipper tab, there is no thumb studs, and it's actually pretty difficult to even get a purchase on the blade with two hands. It looks like a old style slip joint, and that's pretty much the appeal to it, that old classy, something your grandpa might want to carry kind of look to it, but with all upgraded materials and technologies. As far as the technologies are concerned, this is a frame lock with a bolster lock. Technically, it's a bolster frame lock with some G10 inlays over the top, but this has a mohawk or top half crescent moon flipper. The jimping is not too aggressive on it. It's perfect for me as far as I'm concerned, and it's got a very snappy deployment. It also is fairly fall shut. You might have to give it a little wiggle. I'm kind of close to the camera here, so that's kind of hard to do, but you just give it a little jiggle and it falls shut. The bearings are really awesome. It's a really smooth deployment, and like I said, it's really flippy, really snappy with that deployment. The materials are T6V titanium, I believe, and then it's, like I said, not carbon fiber, G10 inlay, and S35VN super steel on the blade there. This is a Justin Lundquist design. I have quite a few of his knives in my collection. He has done some collaborations with Wii and Kaiser, and he just did one with Boker that was his first automatic that I'm looking forward to getting and hopefully doing a review on soon. I like the lines on his knives. They all have a similar style. I would call this a California clip point blade. If somebody asked me, that's what I would say it's called. And then, yeah, it's just a really well built knife. Some of the features that I really enjoy about this knife are, other than, you know, the top flipper tab and the fact that it has S35VN in it, which is, in my opinion, one of my favorite steels all around. It is a very good steel to work with. It's fairly easy to sharpen. It maintains an edge for a long time, and it's pretty tough and corrosion resistant. So all around, it's probably one of my favorite steels. I know a lot of people right now are into the M390, and I own some. I use it on some of my EDCs, you know, but I just prefer S35 or 45VN, and that's just my personal preference. But no, I really do appreciate some of the attention to detail that they've put into this knife. I recently did a review on a Harsey folder that was a $600 knife, well, $570 knife. And I kind of, you know, criticized it a little bit because they gave you a titanium spring clip. And I felt like for that much money, I should be getting a milled clip, especially considering this knife came in at $189 and they give you a titanium milled clip here. It's not quite deep carry, or what I would consider deep carry, but for a milled clip, it's, you know, as close as you're going to get to deep carry, I think. And then it's got a single screw on the clip, which I usually tend to be iffy about because those tend to get loose when there's a single screw instead of two to anchor it in. But they've done a really good job integrating it into the scale here so that there is zero wiggle room on that clip there. Really nice. They've skeletonized the titanium insides, so I don't know if you can see if the camera's picking it up or not, but there is skeletonized liners in there. They've drilled out holes to reduce the weight. This blade cutting edge is coming in at, sorry about this measurement device, it's just the only thing I have on hand right now, but we're looking at exactly 3 inches on your cutting edge, and then the knife overall comes in at just over, I want to say just under 7 inches, 6.9 inches, something like that. Now the weight on the blade is going to be, I believe it's 3 grams. I'm going to hold the lanyard so it doesn't add any extra weight, or 3 ounces, I'm sorry. Yeah, 2.9 ounces on this. So you're coming in with a cutting edge of 3 inches and a weight of 2.9 ounces, which I hear the standard is about an ounce per inch of steel that you have. So this is actually coming in perfect. The balance on this thing without the lanyard is right where you'd want it to be, right where your finger lies when you're holding it in a saber grip. I really just appreciate the design, the simplicity of this design. They've also got a steel lock bar insert that doubles as an over travel stop at the same time, which I think is ingenious, having them pretty much act as the same unit in one. And pretty much, if you don't know, titanium is a softer metal than steel, so over time the lock bar will gradually, there will be wear in the lock bar, and it can pretty much push this bar all the way over eventually if it wears and wears and wears and it becomes less reliable of a lock. Well, with that steel insert there, it's steel on steel, which makes it a lot easier to where if there is wear over time on that, to just replace the frame lock insert instead of having to replace the entire scale and the entire frame lock bar. So it's a really good idea to have those. I really like them. Now there is a benefit to not having one, which is basically there's a little bit more stickiness to your lock, and then it gives you a slightly better lockup, but it's substantially, it's so insignificant that it's not substantial enough to not have the lock bar insert, in my opinion. So that's why I prefer to have them, and I really like seeing that they've put that in here at this price point. And then another thing that I really like, other than the fact that they have a really beautiful crown spine here on this knife, there's no 90-degree angle, it's super rounded off and comfortable. Same with the jimping, although there's still enough to get your grip on, so I like that. But what I noticed with this is that there is no stop pin. It does not have a stop pin, or it does, but it's internal. So what they did was they milled out a track on the titanium and then they've put in basically a pin on each side of the blade itself that rides along that track, so that when you flip it out and it's opening, that's what stops it, the pin on the track inside the titanium. So you never see the lock bar. I think that's a pretty clean design, the way they did that. I really do appreciate that. And this is just, like I said, something that you would think that you could see your grandfather carrying, but with all these updated materials and innovative, ways to deploy it and such. That lock bar pin that I was talking about, here's an example on another knife that I'm going to do a review shortly on. This has the same concept, basically. There is a track in there, and then the two pins sit on either side of the knife, and when you open the knife, they fall into that track. So basically, that's the same process that they're working with on this knife, but it's just that you can't see the track because it's not open backed like that other knife is. All in all, it's a very, very slicey blade, very super thin behind the edge, very slicey, and it's just a perfect, I think it's a perfect EDC. That's why I carry it with me on a daily. If I was going to give any knife a 10 out of 10, this would probably be the closest, but I'm going to go ahead and give it a 9 out of 10, just because I don't think any knife is perfect. Some get close, but I have yet to find that perfect knife. So other than that, this is about everything that I can think of to discuss about this piece today. So we're going to get on back over to the desk, and that's it for today's review of the Kansept Reverie. Alrighty guys, so that's it for today. Again, I just want to thank all of my subscribers and anyone else who came in here and checked out this video. If you find any of this content at all informative or interesting, please hit that like and subscribe button and turn on bell notifications to get notified when I put out future content. I appreciate you guys checking this out, like I said, and I hope you guys have a great day. Stay safe, and above all, stay creative, my friends. We need more of that in this world. Till next time.